Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 4:04 p.m. on Thursday, October 14th, 2021. And in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on the 1992 series Swans Crossing, which I just finished watching the last episode of it um, very early this morning, like right before I went to bed. Hey, Lukey boy, thanks for joining me. Now, before I get into the review, I want to mention that this might be. Oh, hey, Random Cactus. Thanks for joining me. This might be my last review for the next few days because tomorrow, 4 of my relatives are coming down from Illinois. They're going to be staying for a few days. They're visiting for my birthday. So they're going to be staying here from the 15th through the 19th. So it's possible that I might not have any opportunity to record anything else. But because I finally finished watching this series, I decided to share my thoughts on it. This is a show that I had seen commercials for back in '92. Never actually watched the show. Thanks, Lukey boy. And so I kind of read up about it, and I found that it was streaming. Thanks, Ram Cactus and Lukey boy. So I found out that it was streaming, so I decided to watch it, mostly because it stars Sarah Michelle Gellar, and this is 5 years before Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So this is like her first starring role. So what's it about? Well, basically, it's about this group of teens in a town called Swans Crossing. They all come from like rich, privileged families. So they just kind of stir stuff up in their town and have drama and all that stuff. Basically, it was basically an attempt to do like a teen style soap opera. It ran in first run syndication. It didn't come from any network or anything like that. Ran 5 days per week for 13 weeks for a total of 65 episodes. Let me find the exact dates. June 29 to September 25th. It says 24 minutes per episode on Wikipedia, but I find that's not true. It's more like 22 minutes per episode. In fact, I think the first episode was like 18 minutes. But it's like usually 21, 22 minutes. Okay. So, by the way, a lot of the teen actors never really went on to do anything else. Sarah Michelle Gellar is an obvious exception, and so is Brittany Daniel. I didn't know who she was. But it turns out that she was one of the Doublemint twins back in the 90s. And she also starred a few years later on Sweet Valley High alongside her twin sister. I never saw a series and I want to watch it, but apparently it's not streaming anywhere. Okay, so Sarah Michelle Gellar plays Sydney Rutledge. She's the daughter of the town's mayor. And she is in love with Garrett Booth, her next door neighbor, who is the son of the mayor's opponent. There's a mayoral election coming up, and Grant Booth is Mayor Rutledge's opponent. He wants her job. So Sydney and Garrett's love is like forbidden or some crap. They usually meet in no man's land where there's like a a stone wall with like one missing stone in it, and they talk through that. I don't know. But anyway, um, Brittany Daniel plays Mila. I want to make sure that I get this right. I think it's Rosnovsky. Um, yeah, Rosnovsky. She is like a child actor. Um, she, I guess, finished up a TV series or whatever, and she's coming to live in Swans Crossing along with her mother, the Countess. So apparently Mila is a Contessa. They've got like Russian or Polish surnames. I don't know where they get these titles from, but anyway. So like Sydney and Mila become friends. There's also a guy named Owen that wears like sunglasses and plays the keyboard. He's like the music guy. And Sandy Swan is the daughter of, it's like basically the newest generation of the founding family of the town, the Swans. Hence the name Swans Crossing. But it's also named that because there is literally a Swans Crossing area in the town where swans can cross the road, and there's like a street sign, and yeah, there are swans in the town. So the gang hangs out at Swan's soda shop, and they go to Swan Community Center or whatever to swim and hold dances and stuff like that. So Sandy is the featured singer of the series. She sings the theme song, which you will hear a lot. She also sings a few other songs throughout the series. So she and Owen are kind of forming like a band, kind of, sort of. All right, so there's, and like Owen likes Mila as well and tries to get her to be in a band, like, and he promised both girls separately that they could star in a music video. Really, there's a lot of teen drama, a lot of Archie Andrews style antics, but anyway, there's also Neil, forget his last name at the moment, and JT. They're the two science nerds. They're computer geeks, and they're trying to create like some kind of self-perpetuating power source called UB2B. So they have to order a bunch of elements, and they rely on their parents for funding, and Neil relies on the use of his father's lab, his father's pharmaceutical company or whatever, so they could run experiments and stuff like that. And in order to get the elements and all of this stuff, they create a fake guy named Professor Van, and they correspond with people, and they get elements, and that is the least interesting subplot in the series as far as I'm concerned. Basically, the government gets wind of this, and some Russians, or I don't know, some fake Eastern Bloc country gets wind of this, and a whole bunch of people come to Swans Crossing trying to figure out who Professor Van is, and do espionage and all of this stuff. And one of the girls gets kidnapped. Her name's Glory. She's Grant's younger sister. There's also there's a girl named Callie Walker. She arrives in Swans Crossing on board a submarine because her dad is a captain, and they go all around the world, but they've decided to settle down in Swans Crossing. There's also guy named a guy that Callie likes named uh, Jimmy. So Callie and Jimmy are working at like a motorcycle repair shop called Tool and Die. And they've got a shady boss named Barrick who's doing shady stuff with some rocks that he's collecting or something. And there's like these bald guys trying to figure out who Professor Van is, and they speak kind of sort of like Russians, and there's one bald guy in particular, and they don't even have names really. I mean, the closer creds just call them Baldy number 1 and Baldy number 2. But there's this weird thing where like they've got cotton balls in their ears, and they leave cotton balls on the ground, and Callie and Jimmy go around picking up these cotton balls because they think it means something. Cotton balls. Oh, and Barrick has a bunch of cotton balls too, and if you can't tell already, the plot of this series is ludicrous. There's also this stupid subplot. Okay, Garrett and Sydney have broken up because apparently after a baseball game, Sydney was supposed to come up to Garrett or something, and they were going to publicly announce their forbidden relationship, and Sydney doesn't do it. So Garrett becomes Sydney's enemy or some crap like that, and he gets a copy of her birth certificate. Apparently the only one or something because the town's records were misplaced or some crap like that. I don't know. But he takes Sydney and Sandy's birth certificates. They were both born on the same day, and he cuts out a strip of paper that has Sydney Rutledge on it and pastes it over Sandy's birth certificate or something, or puts Sandy's on top of Sydney. I don't remember, but anyway, it's the flimsiest, most easily transparent lie. He tries to convince Sydney that she and Sandy were switched at birth and that she is really Sandy Swan and Sandy is really Sydney Rutledge. Now, in Sydney's mind, and somehow Garrett convinces her of this, she will lose everything if the truth comes out because she will no longer be Mayor Rutledge's daughter. Never mind that that's not how things work. I mean, it's not like these two grown women are going to exchange daughters at this point. But yeah, so Garrett is blackmailing Sydney with this easily disproven birth certificate. He wants Sydney to hook him up with Mila. Never mind that he blew his chance with Mila earlier when he and a bunch of other boys in the town crashed the slumber party at her house and he was publicly arrested. But anyway, so Garrett is like the most unlikable, most punchable character that I've ever seen. And I like Sydney, and Sarah Michelle Gellar is really the only reason that I started watching this series, but she seems so weak when it comes to Garrett and his crap. Because she should have just said, no, I don't care. You say you've got my real birth certificate? Burden of proof is on you. Okay? Just leave me alone. He's threatening to expose her because, like, her mom and his dad are, like, neck and neck in the polls. So if this came out, it could torpedo her mom's re-election campaign. No, it would just be a baby mix-up that happened at the hospital 14 years ago. But anyway, and besides, Mayor Rutledge could say, hey, you say you've got this bombshell evidence. Show it to us. The minute that anyone takes a look at that birth certificate, they'll be like, what's this? Peels the tape off or the glue or whatever. And then Garrett would come off looking like a moron, basically. And if anything, his dad's campaign would be torpedoed because of his little stunt. No one really ever brings this up as a possibility. Even when Sydney finally lets, I forget who she lets know the truth about this. She doesn't tell her mom for whatever reason. But she lets someone know, and they're like, it's not a big deal. It's just Garrett's trying to pull something. But no one ever logically says, all right, let Garrett present his evidence. It'll blow up in his face the minute that anyone takes a look at that thing. This is a major plot line in the series. A stupid birth certificate with a little strip of paper like glued on top. Anyway, if I was Sydney, I would have just gone up to Garrett and had myself a good old nick-snapping good time. But anyway, let's see. There's also some other characters I'm sure that I'm forgetting. Let me bring up the full cast list on IMDb. The characters that I mentioned already are the ones that have the lion's share of the screen time, but there are others, and honestly, I don't even remember their names. Let's see. Sydney Rutledge, Mila Rosnovsky, Neil Atwater, Callie Walker, Garrett Booth. Oh, Sophia De Castro. Her kind of, sort of. But she must have had very little to do in this series. One of the more successful cast members. Let's see, J.T. Adams, Glory Booth, Jimmy Clayton, Nancy Robbins, played by Christy Barbera. She was in 8 episodes. I think she actually had a big scene with Sydney in the final episode, but yeah, she really wasn't very prominent, other than, I guess, being a kind of sort of rival to Sydney. Owen Fowler, yeah, Sandy Swan. Oh, Saja De Castro. Okay, Saja. Apparently he's related to Sophia. Okay. But anyway, Saja. He was in more than 6 episodes, so this information is incomplete. He was in most of the episodes. Saja is like some new age spiritual type guy that likes to pretend he's a ninja. He dresses up in black clothes. He kicks open doors. He's like, ah! And there's like There's like a gong sound every so often in scenes that he's in. He like, and he spouts like fortune cookie cutter wisdom. Um, yeah, he's definitely a weird character and really kind of annoying sometimes, honestly, because he keeps interrupting whenever Callie and Jimmy are about to kiss. So yeah, I really don't like him. The only thing that I can imagine, like, if I show this to a new viewer and they start watching his scenes, they'd be like, "What? What's with this guy?" Let's see. There's also a character named Jazz. I don't know. There's the coach. Someone named Ralph. Oh, Ralph, an older British gentleman. He's basically the Rutledge's servant, butler, chauffeur, stuff like that. So yeah, an older British guy that hangs out with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, so it's like sometimes whenever he's driving her somewhere, she wants him to go faster, so she's like, use your pedal. Anyway, oh, there's also like the own or the waitress or whoever at Swan's soda shop. I forget her name. Was it Jazz? I don't remember. A lot of these actors don't have pictures. Um, let's see who actually went on to do anything of significance. Um, Probably not many people. While I'm waiting for these pages to load up, I guess I'll talk about the ending or lack thereof. The last episode ends, and all of the plot lines are left unresolved. It's like it says to be continued, and then it says something like "let us know" or something like that. Yeah, the show was canceled. So yeah, I don't know why they would leave so much unresolved at the end of their batch of 65 episodes. At least wrap this stuff up, or at least most of the stuff up, before the next batch of episodes, if there was going to be one. Like if they would start talking episodes in school, wrap up as much as possible. Maybe not the election stuff because oh, he's still working. He has 31 credits. He played Owen. All right. Yeah. Oh, good. Um, Carissa Dalbo. Glory. That Swans Crossing. She was definitely in more than 8 episodes. So, Christy Barbera. Swans Crossing was the only thing that she did. Kristen Mahon. She played Sandy Swan. Swans Crossing was her last of two things. She was in an episode of a TV series called American Playhouse. It was called Ask Me Again. It aired in 1989. She played young Elizabeth. All right. M.B. Batista. Or Battisti. Played jazz on Swans Crossing, and that's all that she did. Alessandro Tanaka. Hello, you're listing writer credits first? Oh, apparently he's a writer now? Okay. He was Sasha in Swans Crossing. Then he did like four more things. 93, 2001, 2005, and 2017. What a gap. So, but yeah. Now apparently he is a writer. He's got some stuff filming and some stuff in pre-production. Okay, cool. Looks like he did a bit of a career switch. He's also done like directing and producing. Okay. Nick Wyman. Grant Booth. Oh, the dad. Okay. He's been acting since 1968. He played Abraham Lincoln in a TV series called Future Man last year. So he's still working. Okay. I have a feeling that the adult actors had more success than the child actors. Oh, Donald Symington, who played Ralph, he died in 2013 at age 88. His last role was on Law and Order SVU in 2005. That's sad. But he acted since 1951. It wasn't in as much stuff as you would think. But yeah, 32 credits. Ziska Beveridge. She played Mayor Rutledge. Swans Crossing was all that she did. Philip Clark. He was Coach Grome. Minor role. And that was the only thing that he ever did. All right, let's look at some of the other kids. If it'll let me, will it let me? All right, Tom Carroll played JT. His next and final role was in an episode of Law and Order, the original series in 1997, and that's it. And Swans Crossing was his first role, so yeah. Okay. Shane McDermott. Okay, let's see. Oh, he was Garrett. All right, so Swans Crossing was his second role. His first was in an episode of The Babysitters Club in 1990. Then he acted in only 4 more series, or a movie in 3 more series: Airborne, Loving, Law and Order, and All My Children. Soap opera stuff. Yeah, Swans. I didn't mention the Swans shot like a soap opera. You know how when if you happen to turn on a soap opera, you can immediately tell it's a soap opera because it's shot a certain way. Yeah, so Mira Sorvino. Okay, Swans Crossing was her third role. She acted on Guiding Light in 1991, and she was a factory worker in a movie called The Stuff in 1985. I think that was a movie that James Rolfe reviewed as like a horror comedy type thing. So Swans Crossing was her third role. She's still acting to this day. Huh. She's got lesbian rom-com in pre-production. Cool. She has 105 acting credits. Eddie Robinson played Neil. Still acting to this day. Mostly shorts recently. Oh no, but he's also a correspondent on some kind of news series that ran from 2016 to 2020. He's got shorts in post production. Okay, he doesn't have a terribly big filmography, but he's also done some writing and producing. Stacy Mosley, I don't know. Swans Crossing was her fifth role. She started in 1987. She's Callie Walker, okay, from Swans Crossing. Still acting to this day. Was in a movie that came out this year. Okay, cool. 39 credits. Brittany Daniel. 33 credits. She's got TV series in post-production. She's in Cheaper by the Dozen. I guess it's a remake. It's in post-production. She started acting in 1989, and then You Leave It to Beaver in one episode. So Swans Crossing was her second role. It's Mila Rosnovsky. Okay. Yeah. I want to see Sweet Valley High. I just don't know where I can view it. She was on Dawson's Creek, that 80s show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Game, and The Game Revival, I guess. Okay. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Is she in anything? Okay, just kidding. Yeah, she has 62 acting credits, so she's the most successful one out of them by far. So yeah. Okay. Not sure what else to say about this series. Oh, the Countess has a bird, a white bird named Tutu, that sometimes she carries around on her shoulder. Sometimes it's on a perch by its cage in Mila's room. So, yeah. Let's see. It seems in some episodes they use the theme song and others they don't. Sometimes the closing credits are longer, sometimes they're shorter, sometimes they're missing entirely. I guess it just depends on how much material that they have for the story portion of the episode. In episode 6, which introduced Mila, they had a long music video version of the opening theme song at the end of the episode to welcome Mila to Swans Crossing. That's because the episode ran short. So, yeah. I remember one episode where the closing credits were really short, but they were also really lengthy, so they just sped up the screen at like warp speed, and you really couldn't even read them. So that was odd. The final episode didn't even credit the cast, which is kind of weird. But a lot of the episodes didn't credit the cast. I really don't know how much rhyme or reason that there was to what's included and what isn't, and why the title of the episode switched from upper and lowercase to all caps, and sometimes they used one version, sometimes they used another, sometimes they used both versions of the title in the same episode. I don't know. So I keep trying to make comparisons to Buffy. It's like Sarah Michelle Gellar, obviously she's hanging out with a British guy. She also she kind of acts like Cordelia from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's got that kind of snobby rich girl attitude. There's a girl named Glory. Glory was the name of the villain in season 5 of Buffy. I believe there was a character named Cornelia also, which kind of sounds like Cordelia. There's Sandy, obviously, and Sandy was the name of a minor character on Buffy. Yeah, so not sure what else to say. There is a Facebook group that you can join dedicated to Swans Crossing. I was told that the episodes are on YouTube. I was watching them on Tubi, Tubi, but they might all be on YouTube. I'll have to check. But anyway, so yeah, I finished watching the series and I'm glad that I checked it out, but it got so frustrating with the sheer amount of non-issues that the characters are dealing with, especially Sydney and that stupid birth certificate fraud thing that Garrett was pulling. It's like, no, shut up, Garrett, go away. And Garrett keeps acting so smug, like you're in no position to demand anything. Just, or shove him in the swimming pool, throw acid in his face. I don't care. And Garrett's dad was going to make him go back to a fancy school in France. Garrett was going to try to make himself indispensable to his dad's campaign by revealing the birth certificate and all this crap, and nothing ever came of that because the last episode of the series dealt with Sydney throwing a farewell summer party at the Swans Club, and no one's storylines got resolved in the slightest. These characters are supposedly, I think, Sydney's supposed to be 14. Sarah Michelle Gellar was 15 when she played her. But yeah, Sydney was born in 78. Sarah was born in 77. But anyway, so they would probably be like in the summer vacation between middle school and high school. Okay? Which is exactly where I was. I was born in 1978, and I started high school in 1992. So these characters are supposed to be my age. Glory's like a year younger than Garrett, I think. But anyway, I never had this degree of freedom of movement that these characters had. It's like they could just walk around town, go from one place to another. They just go out at all hours of the day and night. It's like, do their parents not know where they are? Do their parents know where they are? Do their parents even care? Do some of them even have parents? I don't know. Let's see. It's like some of them are riding like, I don't know if they're motorcycles or scooters or mopeds, but could young teenagers legally ride those things around town? Let's see. I guess that's about all that I have to say. I mean, I liked Sydney. I just wish she was more authoritative and just didn't put up with Garrett's crap like she did. I like Mila. I like Tutu. Tutu is adorable when he appeared. Yeah, and Sandy's okay. Callie's okay. Glory's okay, but mostly I watch them mostly for Sydney and for Mila. Um, didn't care about JT and Neil's storyline at all. Hated Garrett. Jimmy was just kind of there as a love interest to Callie, and he was like a fanboy of their boss Barrick until he realized, oh crap, Callie's right. Barrick might be up to some shady stuff. So, oh, and there's this one time when Glory got kidnapped by the Baldies and she was hung up in a net over a snake pit. And anyway, a lot of episodes span the course of one day, like multiple episodes, and that's one day. They had 65 episodes and they couldn't wrap up any storylines. It's like the pacing in this series is horrible. I like the theme song, I guess, and there's another song in there that I kind of liked also. They made use of a lot of music videos because at Swan's Soda Shop and also in Mila's bedroom, they had like built-in TVs into the walls, and you could watch music videos on there. Sydney had this one big dream sequence between herself and Garrett where they publicly announced their relationship, and she stood up to her mother saying she wants to date Garrett and stuff like that. And the whole scene was set to Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. It turns out that it was just a daydream that Sydney was having in her bedroom while she was listening to the tape. But anyway, check out the series, I guess, if you're interested. Just be aware that you're going to be left hanging. And it's probably not a series that you're going to want to watch again. But anyway, whatever. I ship Sydney and Mila. So it's 4:54 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.